Welcome to episode 8 of the Mercs Corner. And today we're going to talk about my comic of the week, as well as this new anthology from DSTLRY called The Devil's Cut. Let's get into it. Once again, welcome to episode 8 of the Mercs Corner. And there's going to be a little bit of a format change, so to speak. So traditionally, I have been doing my top 3 comics of the week, but in order to kind of cut down the video lengthwise, I'm just going to do my number 1, just my comic of the week. And I'll be able to go into a little bit more depth maybe when it comes to that without going 8 to 9 minutes. So that should be good. And then, yeah, I'm excited about that. So we're also going to talk about The Devil's Cut. That's a very interesting comic to me. So without further ado, let's get into this comic of the week. The cream of the crop, the creme de la creme, the comic book of the week. So there were some good candidates for my comic of the week, but I think what stood out far and beyond, in my opinion, for this week is none other than Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War battle lines. Now, let me say something. I've been saying it in my previous videos. I've been excited about this. I did a whole thing, a segment in Merc's Corner a few weeks back talking about this. And I got to say, this was a really, really good setup. Not a whole lot of action, but that's not the purpose of this. It's supposed to set everything up for what's to come. Now, I'll be honest, I have not read a lot of Catwoman. Actually, I haven't read any of Catwoman. So I don't know what's going on in the main title of Catwoman before this. But what I did like about this is Batman. This is where the Night Terror's Night's End flowed into this, because Batman, at the end of that book, he was knocked out. He was out for like a while. And we find out in this book that he was out for 8 weeks because Deadman took over his body in Night Terrors, and that just put a toll on him. So he was out for 8 weeks, sleeping after that event ended, wakes up in here 8 weeks later, and yeah, things in Gotham have changed. Definitely have changed. Crime went down 70%, 75%, something like that. And it was weird. And come to find out, it was because of Catwoman. Catwoman has been taking all of the other villains, minions or whatever, and putting them to work for her, but not necessarily working for her. Let me rephrase that. More so retraining them and kind of like what they call sort of like victimless crimes, or violent crimes are down. And she basically repurposes them, really. And she calls a meeting with the Bat family. Everybody comes in, and she explains to everybody that this is what she's doing, stealing from the rich, kind of giving back to the poor, as well as helping these villains out at the same time. Because she's trying to stake the claim that they got families too. They're regular people, and yeah, man, a real Robin Hood type of thing going on. And yeah, so Batman, he's not really having it. Some of the Bat family, it seems like they're kind of split on the whole idea. So it's really setting things up. Batman storms out. He's kind of thinking to himself, and he's like, I don't know, it seems like he's kind of warming up to what Catwoman's doing, until one of her pupils is found murdered, and that pisses him off. So like that kind of puts him over the edge a little bit. It seems like. And then we're gonna move on to the next issue. So this is gonna be good. The next issue is Batman 137. Man, I can't recommend this enough. Nice surprise. One thing though, there's supposed to be on Batman Day, which is a few weeks away. On Batman Day, there is a Gotham War prelude. You think that would come out before this? So I don't know what that's about, but I'm gonna pick it up. I'm gonna read it, see what it's about. Foreshadowing or stuff, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so Batman, Catwoman, the Gotham War Battle Lines. That's a long title, but that's also my comic of the week right here. Guys, so on my new comic book day haul video, I had mentioned The Devil's Cut from DSTLRY. Right here. I gotta admit, this is the first book that they have published. And it is an anthology book, preview book of what's to come from DSTLRY, and trying to, give you a little bit of a taste. And in here, there's 11 stories. There's 11 stories in here. And I got to admit, I feel like I want to buy everything from them now. Nearly everything. So, first of all, I like the name DSTLRY. It's kind of a play off of distilleries where they make like bourbons and things like that. And then that's also the Devil's Cut. That's also another wordplay of that. I like bourbon. So that's a winner for me. So anyway, just reading off the back right here. The Devil's Cut is your introduction to DSTLRY, featuring 11 unfiltered stories from the most fearless creators. And it lists a bunch of the creators, but just to name a few, Becky Cloonan, Jock, you got Rom V, Stephanie Phillips, Scott Snyder, James Tynion, just among a bunch of them. So you got big name creators that are involved in this, a creator owned, publisher, which I think is pretty awesome, because that means they can just do what they want without an overhead. I mean, they still have their, the editors and things like that, but like they're not kind of being withheld, and let me tell you, from reading some of these stories in here, they're not being held back. So, which is something I love. We can all appreciate. I mean, yeah, we can love Marvel, we can love DC, the big two, but you see limitations in the storytelling. You see which direction that the writers are being pushed towards in some occasions. Yeah, I don't feel like that's going to happen with this. Hopefully not. Hopefully this stays true to its roots. Of course, this is going to be years down the road where we will know that for sure. But man, this is just like awesome. Now, one thing I am curious about is I've seen a few of the solicitations from a few of the other books on League of Comic Geeks, and I've seen that it seems like the average price for these books are going to be like, I think, $8.99. My only question is are they going to be in this format? Square bound, this size? Are they going to be like this? If so, I might be more inclined to buy more titles, but at an $8.99 price, I mean, I understand it's a new company. You gotta have you gotta make a profit, right? You gotta build the company. You gotta have money to build company. Therefore, you have to make money to build, right? I understand that. But man, $8.99. That's my only thing. I'm not saying I'm not buying. I'm just saying I don't know if I'll be able to buy as much as I would probably like to. We'll see though. We will see. Now, as far as some of these stories that are in this book, a few a few that really stood out to me was, I don't want to get the name of the story wrong. Now, this one kind of, I heard about this story before I read this. And to be honest, initially before I read it, I was like, the title didn't grab me or whatever. But after reading What Blighted Flames Burns in Thee, and that's from Becky Cloonan, gotta be honest, I was really surprised from what I read, like how the story ends up. The only thing that kind of confuses me a little bit is the artwork changed like 3 times. So, just to show you, you got, that's like the main cover or the main like front page or whatever. And that's, you flip the page, pretty cool artwork. It's black and white, but then it's highlighted like a gold color right there or whatever. So, and I think it's the next page. No, not the next page. You go a couple pages, and then the artwork changes, and that's good artwork. I like that a lot. But then it changes again. You go a few more pages. No, I'm lying. It just changed twice. I don't know why I was thinking 3 times, but it changed 2 times in this preview. The artwork's good. I just don't understand the art changing. So I don't know what that's about, but both types of artwork in here work good. So anyway, the story was pretty cool. The story was pretty cool. They're kind of hunting this lady down, and like they're claiming she's a witch because there's this disease or something going around town or the world or something. And yeah, I guess because she's immune, like she doesn't get caught with the disease. Her mother locks herself in the house and won't let her, like, the daughter in. And next thing you know, these group of guys are walking up and telling her to come with them, and she's going to be on trial because of this virus or whatever's going around. So that struck me as really interesting. Another story that really, really caught my interest unexpectedly. Now, I love Ron V. I love what he's doing with Detective Comics and stuff like that. But he has a title in here called Waiting to Die. And this is really interesting. So this is just basically about this solar flare. He's watching TV or something, and they're making announcements about the solar flare. It's an expected thing, so they're fully expecting it, and it talks about how if it's going to, obviously all the electrical stuff will probably go out, but it could also affect your memory and things like that. Just kind of like erase your memory and wipe you clean or whatever. And so a little tidbit from the story that I guess it's coming from the news. Researchers are predicting unavoidable and catastrophic damage to communications and technology. Although the impact on humans is unknown at the time, the solar flare is thought to have an effect on the human capability to recollect and form memories. People are advised to stay indoors. So, yeah. So, and I'm not going to show you this page because there is nudity. I didn't expect that, but there's nudity. So I can't show you the next page. But yeah, the guy and I guess his girlfriend, they didn't really clarify. I think his girlfriend, she ends up going outside. And he's like, why are you going? So he stays in, she goes out, and then there's a group of people standing outside. The solar flare happens, and he's kind of like left inside, just having memories of him and his girlfriend, might be wife, from the past. And that's kind of where this preview ends. So that pretty much intrigued me a lot. So I'm really on board for that. And then there's the story, I forget the name. The Stowaway by Jock. And he does the art and story. He does pretty much everything. So the Stowaway. So it looks like this is like based sometime in the future, maybe. It's like this kid, his mother, I don't know what's going on in the world. They don't really clarify in this preview, but something's going on in the world. Uh, the kid, the boy, he runs out to this ship, this spaceship type thing, because his mother and him, they're hungry, they're starving, and apparently he knows about some catering and some food on this ship that he's going to go steal and get off the ship. And he successfully does so. He almost gets caught because he almost gets caught stuck on the ship because the ship is about to take off, and he's like freaking out. So I think he left his food and everything that he was able to get, I think, in a panic when he was trying to get off the ship. Understandable, right? In a panic, he leaves the ship, gets off the ship barely, but I think he leaves his food. So it's kind of where this ends. This story, kind of, yeah, it's kind of where it ends. The beeping, that's all the alarms from the ship, kind of announcing that the ship is leaving. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then there was this one more story. I wanted, who's this one by? I've got to flip around. This one by Story Art and Colors by Merca and Dolfo. Yeah, Story Art and Colors. There we go. But basically, A Blessed Day. So basically, it's like this vampire, or not a vampire, but a demon that lives on this planet, lives every day as a human, but he kind of mocks human behind, like in his own house or whatever. And but he's part of this like managing, like talent manager in showbiz. So he manages, musicians, actors, and all that kind of stuff. And at the end of this little preview, he's a priest at a church. A demon is a priest or at a church. So that kind of struck my interest as well. I thought the artwork for this was pretty good. So that's one of his clients right there, one of the musicians, and like she's like super famous, so everybody loves her, and yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. So DSTLRY, I hope DSTLRY succeeds in every kind of way. Just based on this, I'm intrigued, man. I'm entertained from what I've read on here. There's also a Scott, the Scott Snyder story. Honestly, I'll be honest, and surprisingly, because I like Scott Snyder, it was enjoyable, but like I was disappointed only because I thought, and this is my own doing. It's not necessarily the story, but it's my own doing that I kind of in my head hyped up this story more for whatever reason. Because I mean, I like Scott Snyder. I like his stories, but that's not to say, because this is only a little taste from what he put in here. It's like a preview. It's only a few pages, but it's called The White Boat. The name of the book is White Boat. So yeah, I mean, some art from that. So yeah, maybe if I read the whole entire story, it'll hit me better. So we'll see. Anyway, man, DSTLRY, Devil's Cut. The only time that it's going to be printed this way, after these books that came out on New Comic Book Day, it's not going to be reprinted. So down the road, it might, if you're into like the spec thing or the collector thing, whatever, you might want to pick this up. It's $10, $9.99. It's a good buy, I feel like. So anyway, all that being said, I hope that you guys check this out. If you have already checked this out, what do you guys think of it, man? DSTLRY. What do you guys think of this book and what it had to offer, previewing what's coming in the future from DSTLRY? Because I'd really love to hear other opinions on it. So yeah, I hope you guys go check it out, man. Devil's Cut. Boom. Well, there you have it. Episode 8 of Mercs Corner is in the books. If you feel so inclined, please, if you like what I'm doing, like, comment, and subscribe, man. And in the link or in the description below is a link to my Facebook page, my Instagram, Twitter. And yeah, let's go hang out over there, man. Let's connect. So, all that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one.